Today, we are going deep on one of the biggest fintech stories happening anywhere on the planet. We're talking about India's Unified Payments Interface, or UPI. And honestly, it's not just a payment system, it's something that has completely rewired the financial nervous system of the world's most populous country. And it all starts with a simple sound: a ping. In this one line, it just perfectly captures the incredible scale of what we're talking about. I mean, think about it. It starts with the smallest, most relatable human moment you can imagine, and it scales all the way up to a full-blown economic revolution. It's about taking money from being something invisible, locked away, to something visible and accessible for everyone.
So that's the big question, right? How on earth did a simple notification sound become the actual heartbeat of a brand new digital economy? Well, that's what we're here to unpack. Let's dive in.
To really get our heads around this massive nation-spanning change, we're going to start small, like really small. We're going to talk about a 5-year-old girl named Ria who just wanted a 10 rupee chocolate. Okay, so what you're seeing here are two completely different worlds. On the left, you've got the old way. You know the drill, you don't have the right cash, the shopkeeper doesn't have change, the card machine is broken, and the result? A disappointed kid. Total dead end. But then look at the right. This is the UPI story. Her mom just pulls out her phone, scans a little QR code, taps send, and bing! Payment done, chocolate secured, everybody's happy. It's that simple.
And this is just the perfect question, isn't it? Ria's innocent question gets right to the heart of the whole thing. She's thinking, wait a minute, no coins, no notes, where did the money actually go? And that invisible, instant, and totally secure movement of money, that's the magic. And it's our cue to pull back the curtain and see how this whole thing actually works. So let's get into that magic. We've seen what UPI does in that little story. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of how every single one of those pings is even possible. So first off, what even is UPI? You know, the best way to think about it is like a public highway system, but for money. See, before UPI, every bank was building its own private little toll road. It was messy, so India came in and built one massive, common digital highway that every single bank, and I mean every bank, can use. And they all have to follow the same traffic rules. It's simple, it's efficient, and it's for everybody. And that highway idea leads us to the next magic word: interoperability. Seriously, this is so important. It just means that everything works with everything else. Your Google Pay app can seamlessly pay a merchant who uses a completely different bank, who can then pay their supplier using yet another app. There are no walled gardens. No, sorry, we don't take that here. Everyone can talk to everyone. This is absolutely crucial. Okay, but this right here, this might be the single biggest game changer of them all: zero MDR. So put yourself in the shoes of a small shop owner. When someone pays with a credit card, you lose 1, maybe 2% of the sale right off the top. It's a cost. With UPI, you lose nothing. Zero. Zilch. For millions of merchants, this made accepting digital payments an absolute no-brainer. Now look, there's a huge debate about whether this is sustainable in the long run for the payment companies, but in terms of getting people on board, it was like rocket fuel. So, when you boil it all down, here's the core insight. India made a massive strategic choice. They decided that digital payments shouldn't be some kind of premium service that you have to pay for, like a fancy subscription. No. It should be a public utility that everyone can rely on, just like water or electricity. It should be there, it should work, and it should be for everyone. Now, you have to understand, something this huge doesn't happen by accident. So let's get into how this was all planned. We're going to look at the secret sauce, how the technology, the government policy, and literally hundreds of millions of people all came together to create this incredible story. They followed a very clear 5-step playbook. It started with the foundation, making sure people had smartphones, bank accounts, and a digital ID. Then, and this is key, instead of jumping right to building fancy apps, they built the public rails first, the boring but essential plumbing. Only then did they open the gates for anyone to innovate on top of it, took away the cost for merchants, and then just stood back and watched as it absolutely exploded. And when you look at this chart, it all just clicks. Look at what so many other countries did. They started with the apps, they built closed-off systems, and they charged merchants high fees. India did the complete opposite. They built the public infrastructure first, they made it free for merchants, and they demanded that it be open for everyone. They treated it like a public good, not a private business. So, who was the wizard behind the curtain for all of this? It was this organization, the National Payments Corporation of India, or NPCI. You can think of them as the silent architect and the totally neutral referee.
They're the ones who built the highway and wrote the rule book, and they made sure everyone played fair, all without building their own flashy app or trying to take a...
All right, enough about the strategy. Let's talk about the real-world results. What did this revolution actually change for the people on the front lines, the ones actually managing the money every day? I mean, just listen to this quote from the CFO of a huge national retail chain. Before UPI, her team was drowning, trying to match up payments from 8 different digital wallets, credit cards, you name it. It was a mess. After UPI, it was just one single file, one account, all settled instantly. It literally cleaned up their books overnight.
And get a load of this number. One manufacturing company, just by getting paid instantly instead of waiting 2 or 3 days for money to clear, freed up so much of their own cash that they saved over 1.4 crore rupees a year in borrowing costs. That's not just a payment tool. That's a liquidity accelerator. That's real money. So here's the final scorecard. And honestly, it's a total knockout. For anyone making financial decisions in a company, the choice is just crystal clear. You get your money in seconds, not days. It costs you nothing. Reconciliation is automatic, and the risk is lower. Across every single metric that matters to a business, UPI just wins. The thing is, the impact here has been so massive that this isn't just an Indian success story anymore. Nope, it's actually becoming a blueprint for the rest of the world. Okay, take a second and just let this chart sink in. It is absolutely staggering. India, one single country, now accounts for almost half, 46% of all real-time digital payments on the entire planet. The scale is just, it's hard to even comprehend. And yeah, the world is paying attention. And they're not just watching, they're copying the playbook. The new FedNow system in the US, it's built on that same principle of central public rails. Brazil's wildly successful PIX system, they adopted that low-cost model. The core ideas that made UPI work are starting to pop up everywhere. All right, so let's bring this all home. After seeing all this, what are the big lessons? What are the key takeaways that we should all remember from this incredible financial revolution? So why does all this matter? Well, because the impact is felt at every single level. If you're a CFO, this isn't just a new way to get paid. It's a strategic tool to free up working capital and slash costs. If you're a small business owner, it's your ticket into the formal economy, a way to build a credit history and unlock growth. And if you're a policymaker, it's powerful, undeniable proof that building open, public infrastructure is how you achieve real inclusion and scale for everyone, not just a select few. And we'll leave you with this final, powerful question. A nation of 1.4 billion people proved to the world that it is possible to make payments instant, borderless, and free. They've provided the blueprint. So the real question for the rest of the world isn't if it can be done, it's why it hasn't been done yet.